Combining Holocaust studies, English writing, and participating in a global digital community into one project sounds like a stretch. However, this is exactly what we, מחזור א' of Keshet High School, במסגרת Batya, did in our English required project this year. We researched amazing stories of righteous among the nations that had not been told or documented in English to date, and wrote Wikipedia pages honoring them. This incredibly important project ended up not only being academic, but extremely meaningful and sometimes even moving. All 12th grade students in Israel are required to do some kind of English project. Our project, led by Judy, our teacher, was so much more. Here's our journey.
What is your English project about?
My English project is about the righteous among the nations that don't have a Wikipedia page in English.
So the project is about writing a Wikipedia entry about the righteous among the nation.
Our journey began with learning how to answer questions, such as, who are the righteous among the nations? How does a person get to be recognized as one? What are the conditions they had to live up to? We met with a woman who was a part of the committee of Yad Vashem that makes these discussions, and were amazed to discover how difficult the criteria are.
Each pair got a righteous among the nation person and investigate his rescue story and then publish a Wikipedia page.
During the writing of the project, we got comments from our teacher about what we wrote because the page must be in a high level. Because we are writing a Wikipedia page for an English Wikipedia, it must be objective and universal as possible, and should be for international audience.
One of the things we have done during the work on the project was talking with the one who is responsible to decide whether a candidate will get the Righteous Among the Nations award or not. Even though I didn't like the way she told us that they decide, I think we learned a lot from this talk.
Stage 2 of the journey had us divided into pairs, and each pair received the name of a person or a family who rescued Jews during the Holocaust. We dove into testimonies, letters, news clippings that were provided by Yad Vashem archives, in addition to using websites that will help us gain insight into these inspiring people and their stories.
My project was about Aldo Bonacci. Aldo Bonacci was a righteous among the nation that lived in Italy during the World War II. He saved a lot of Jews in Assisi that escaped from the Nazis, and I think one of the things that changed them from the other righteous among the nations is that he really cared to give the Jews the thing they need, and every righteous among the nation want to do that, but he really can do that, and it helps really much with the Jewish side.
The person who me and Daniel did on is Robert Mathieu. He's a Belgian person who risked his life to save Jews from the transport who went from Belgium to Auschwitz. He did it with two more friends. They have one gun and they stopped the train by using a light and red paper to faking an alarm sign. They open one of the wagons and tell every person who was there to run away while the Nazi shoot them. He saved a lot of Jews and gave them money. But there were, I think, something like 20 Jews who were killed in this in that attack.
So we did our project on Anna Bindir-Bonova, who is recognized as righteous among the nation from the Czech Republic. Anna Bindir-Bonova saved Jews at Auschwitz. She hired the Jews in easier jobs, and that's what made the life better and easier.
In stage 3, it was time to write. We wrote, rewrote it, corrected our writing again and again and again. We wrote about righteous among the nations in general, about our subject and specifically, and added background information about the time and place their incredible acts of rescue took place.
I learned how to edit articles in Wikipedia.
And the most interesting things that I learned when I do the project is that the process of receiving the title Greatest Among the Nation is a long and complex process. So just the worst people receive the title.
The most interesting thing I learned while working on this project is how to write a Wikipedia entry. I find it really interesting to see how the Wikipedia world works, and eventually me and my mate create our own Wikipedia page about our righteous among the nations.
I learned a lot about the Wikipedia world and the rights among the nation world. I didn't know about both very much. It was very interesting, the technique details and all the stuff and all this process who helps to passing the member of the Holocaust and the rights among the nations for all over the world, and it is a big responsibility, but I think we did it well.
Stage 4. You were almost done. It was time for us to contribute everything we have learned to the international community. But wait, we weren't quite ready yet. How does one create a Wikipedia page? Technically, what are the requirements? What do we need to notice? What are references exactly? We met up with a Wikipedian, yes, that's what they're called in English, to learn all about the do's and don'ts, the hows and whys of creating an English Wikipedia page. We learned that it has to be objective, that names cannot be anachronistic, that links need to be made, and the level has to be high. Finally, we were ready.
I gained a lot of knowledge from the project. For example, I now know how long and complex the process of getting the Righteous Among the Nations title really is.
I think what amazed me during the work on this project was the fact that a person chooses to risk his own life for another person who isn't connected to him in any way.
On Sunday, November 22nd, 2020, Bevav Kislev, Hatashpa, we met at school, outside, with our masks on, and reached our final goal. Sitting in pairs on the grass and in the computer lab, we published our Righteous Among the Nations Wikipedia page. By doing so, we not only finished our English Bagrut project, but also became Wikipedians ourselves and honored these heroes we had privilege to get to know.
תודה רבה רבה, אמיר, באמת.
רק משפט לסיום, תודה לכם, כי אתם תורמים פה לידע של האנושות. זה לא בשבילי, זה לא איזה סיסמה כזאת, זה ממש מהותי. כי מה שאתם כותבים פה, אנשים אחר כך יקראו, אלפי אנשים, אולי מיליוני אנשים יקראו. אז זה שימושי. ואני מאוד מקווה שאחרי שאתם עושים את זה, לפחות חלק מכם, אולי אפילו כולכם, תכתבו עוד בוויקיפדיה, כי אתם יכולים לעשות את זה, אתם יכולים לכתוב פה על דברים שמעניינים אתכם, אתם יכולים לכתוב באנגלית, בעברית, אולי בשפות אחרות אם מישהו יודע, אז תעשו את זה, וזהו. מקווה שזאת פעם ראשונה ולא אחרונה.